Hey, shalom, 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 everybody. They cut my phone off talking about cool down. He's some wicked ass devil, man. Hold on, let me go throw this fucker in the refrigerator. They might make the battery explode. These some wicked ass demons, man. They might make this motherfucker explode. They got devices, man, to do that shit. We're gonna let it cool down. We're gonna sit in here and here let it cool off. Hey, you see these people these are the wicked, man, that the Bible speaks of. All right? These devils, man, are wicked. They the evil. But yet you got Jake, they love these. They say, we love them, we can't get enough of them. So you niggas gonna go down with this nigga. All right? Hold on, y'all. Let's do the fair use. They say, we love him, we can't get enough of him. Wicked ass niggas. All right, hold on. They love his money, man. That money ain't even no motherfucking good unless a doctrine. Fair use under the copyright statute of 1976. Fair use of the copyright statute of 1976.
The 1976 Copyright Act, which took effect in 1978, protects works from their creation. It extended protection to the author's life plus 50 years, defined fair use, and gave creators 6 exclusive rights. For legal advice, consult a professional.
She didn't do what I wanted to do. Fair use of the copyright statute.
Fair use permitted, unlicensed use of copyrighted material. This legal doctrine found in the copyright statute is used for things like criticism, news reporting, teaching, and research. It's determined on a case-by-case basis, considering the purpose, the work's nature, the amount used, and the effect on the market.
So fair use. I'm not getting paid for it. It's strictly for educational purposes. Commenting, news, reporting, teaching, so on. Let's hear some of the priests. And I'm gonna go into the sister girl video that she shot me. She be doing some beautiful lessons, man. But she be going off because she trusting this worldly system. She trusting this worldly system. All that old shit there with y'all doing good, boy. The Lord gonna use these devils to get at y'all. He finna touch y'all women, man. Wearing all that old tight ass shit on, showing your ass. Think that's cute. It's okay. Y'all burn out, man. Burn up, man. Straight up hoes. Gold diggers. Look at Donald Trump. Look at it. Man, hey, we gonna be all over the place, y'all. Let's go to my boy the priest. My man, old Mike, they going in. They already got him on there. See, they beat me to the punch. Midas touch. Let's go with the priest.
It's only for Jacob. Okay, that's only for the sons of God.
I want to see that video he made earlier, man.
Okay, so that's not Esau's birthright. Okay, that's not his right by birth to do that. Okay, and when you go into the scriptures, it lets you know that this nigga is illegitimate, and Jacob was always set up to be the. All right, Shalom. First and foremost,
that ain't the one I want. I want that one he did. He did a video. Is this it? This might be it right here. me come out of there. He did a video earlier today, man. I was watching. Beautiful lesson. Oh, here it go right here. Yep, here it go right here. Yeah, so I'm gonna be all over the place today, y'all. Y'all just get your popcorn. We finna go into this thing, man. Whatever you drink, doing. We're gonna hear the priest. This is the one I wanted right here. Look, that's what we're gonna be doing. Hey, look at the Lord. Yes, sir. Look at the Lord. Yeah. Man, oh Lord. Oh, pray to Yahweh by saying Yahweh. Yeah, see? Man, that's what we hoping for, man. That's why we do the work. Yes, sir. Lord gonna give us some bodies, man.
We'll drink wine new.
Yeah, that's what I want. I told him I was gonna get that video.
You elect. As of right now, we say hopeful elect.
Yes, sir.
You elect the Israel out there. Will drink wine new with our Lord Yahweh Shai in his Father's kingdom, which is going to be the kingdom of heaven here on this planet Earth once Yahweh Shai returns. When our Lord comes back, one of the first things he's going to do is have a toast with his men. He's going to have a toast with his men, those that stood stiffly for his name and his Father's name. Let's read this one more time. Matthew chapter 26, verse 29. But I say unto you, I will not drink henceforth of this fruit of the vine, which is wine, which is made from grapes, as you know. And our Lord, he loves to drink that. That's something our Lord took pleasure in when he was here on this planet Earth. He's not going to do it anymore until he returns to do it with you. Showing just how much he loves his elect, man. He's not even going to drink until he does it again with you. I will not drink his of this fruit of the vine until that day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom. So what a moment that's going to be, man. And you can only imagine the quality of wine that's going to be. Our Lord Yahweh Shai, he has access to different things that we don't even know about. Access to different grapes you don't know about. Has access to an entirely different quality of life that we don't know about. But he's going to reveal it to you. He's going to give it to you when he returns. Now, you have what's called a loyal toast. A loyal toast. I'm going to read this real quick. A loyal toast is a salute given to the sovereign monarch or head of state of the country in which a formal gathering is given. In this case, the sovereign monarch or head of state would be Yahweh Shai. He's our sovereign monarch. He controls everything, man, but guess what? He's also going to extend that power to you elect. He's going to share that power with you. A loyal toast is a salute given to the sovereign monarch or head of state of the country in which a formal gathering is given, or by expatriates of that country, whether or not a particular head of state is present. In this case, the Lord will be present. So you're not going to have someone speaking for him, giving a toast. He's going to host the toast. He's going to be there, man. We're living in a time we're going to meet Yahweh Shai. You're going to meet him face to face, which is proof also that we have to be changed. We can't meet the Lord like this. He's going to change you, he's going to crown you, and he's going to toast you. Now let's read some more. It says, it is usually a matter of protocol at state and military occasions and a display of patriotic sentiment at civilian events. The toast is usually initiated and recited by the host, which would be Yahweh Shai, before being repeated by the assembled guests in unison. To the kingdom!
I don't know what I did. Oh, there you go.
Cheers! I love holding up cups, but imagine the Lord himself hosting it, and we join in. And I was reading something else, and pretty much they said in order to have what they call a loyal toast, you would use wine. That's the beverage of choice. And once again, our Lord, he's coming back, and we're going to see him with all that power, man. But he's going to extend that power to you. Now, reading on a monarch, it says a monarch is a head of state for life or until abdication, in this case for life. And therefore the head of state of a monarch may exercise the highest authority and power in the state. Or others may wield that power on behalf of the monarch. And that will be you joint heirs. You different men that are going to reign with the Lord, man.
Yes, sir. Come on with it.
Usually a monarch either personally inherits the lawful right to exercise the state's sovereign rights, often referred to as the throne or the crown, or is selected by an established process from a family or cohort eligible to provide the nation's monarch. In this case, the Heavenly Father Yahweh himself selected his son Yahweh Shai.
Beautiful.
And once again, when our Lord returns, he's going to wield that power to you elect as well.
Hey.
Once again, he's going to change you, he's going to crown you, and he's going to have a toast with you. A kingly toast. To the kingdom!
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, boy.
Raise your voices, my friends. Toast with the king. Toast with the king. Raise your voices, everyone. Toast for a prosperous future. To the king. To our glorious future. To the victors, from the spoils, raise your glasses. Cheers. Raise your glasses. In the age of our kingdom. A toast to the king.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rekapadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to us, our brothers. Oh, Shalaki, and peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds. In the name of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, the listeners who have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, man. You know, so hey, this morning news and prophecy, man. We already know what it is. You know, World War III update. And what I want to get into, you know, before we get into the videos, you know, because a lot of information, you know, has come out, you know, and you know, when you're dealing with, you know, war, all right, especially at the beginning of a war. It's a whole bunch of information that's coming out quickly, and it's a lot of misinformation. It's a lot of wartime propaganda. Certain things have to be, confirmed. That's why, I didn't want to rush, and do a news and prophecy, until some things were confirmed, to some reliable sources, spoke on the particular things, so you got to cross reference, particular things. And we're in a time where you're going to see a lot of information going forth, AI, videos, and things of that nature. All right. And you're going to get, I say, the wartime propaganda. Okay. You're going to get the bias of the Western media. You got to filter through that, So the best thing to do is let things settle, let things be confirmed, let the morning after, let things get sorted out. And then, deal with, reliable sources, more of a boots on the ground sources, and filter everything through the scriptures, And before we even get into, all right, the happenings, before we get into the boots on the ground, all right, we're gonna go into the spiritual aspect, because the reason why we follow these things is because we're seeing, all right, the birth pains that's going to lead to Yahweh Shai. Okay, we're seeing the birth pains that's leading to Yahweh Shai. Okay, so we're in a time, all right, the heavy prophecy coming to pass, and these are all the signs that Yahweh Shai told us about. Okay, so as we see these signs, we know the end is close. Now, we're not at the end, it's not going to be, nuclear war next week, so we have to still be balanced and have patience. Okay, don't stop paying your mortgage or your rent. Okay, we still have certain things that have to play out, So we follow these things because this is a sign of Yahweh Shai getting ready, okay, to make his appearance, all right? The revelation of Yahweh Shai, his second coming in the earth, okay? These are the signs building up to that, but it's a build-up, okay? So as we're excited about these times, there's still patience that has to be shown on my end as these things fully play out and develop. Okay, so let's get here. I want to, matter of fact, go there real quick. Let's go to Matthew 24. Okay, I brought this out yesterday, but it said this is Matthew 24 and 3. And it says, and he sat down, which is Yahweh Shai, upon the Mount of Olives, and the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? And it's speaking of the end of this age, because what we're watching is the end of the age of Esau. Okay, and what these devils have done, which is entering.
End of an eon. Let's look that word eon up real quick. So when he referencing age, he's referencing eon or aeon. Because you're going to hear people say aeon or eon. See, a lot of our people don't even know what time we living in. And then I got another clip, because I'm going to come back to him. I'm going to be like 2-3 minutes in here and there. And then I'm going to skip through that video, because it's about almost 2 hours long. And get them good points out of it, because I watched the video earlier. I'm trying to learn how to, get active like that. Get them key points for that meat part. So let's get this end of the eon. And I'm going to send this video to you all so y'all be able to watch it in its entirety. If I haven't, I think I already sent it out. If I haven't, I'm going to send it out to you all. Hold on. it says an indefinite or very long period of time, the unit of time equal to 1,000 million years. See, they got 1,000 million years, they going off. That dude is here, they're going to, the Webster. It says it's a noun, and it says right here got aeon, synonyms of eon. It said an immeasurably or indefinitely a long period of time. Age, remember he said age, end of an age. Okay, a very large division of geological time, usually longer than an era. A unit of geologic time equals to 1 billion years. See, they talking about 1 billion years. That's pseudo. That's that pseudo shit. Okay. It said, but between its subtle style, simple yet efficient organization, a durability that suggested that the weak ender will last for eons of adventures to come, and testers said price might be worth it. This is what y'all devils want, but it's not gonna happen. So let's do this here. Let's go here. I'm gonna see what the AI say about it. And look at this one. I wonder why they always be trying to hide this stuff right here, man, from the from people, man, to keep people in the dark. Let's search the internet. I mean, what does end of an eon mean biblically? Uh-oh, it got me. Uh-oh, here we go. So biblically, the end of an eon often translate as the end of an age or consummation of the age. Okay, consummation. So that consummation goes into consume. Saturnalia, aeonia, that's Greek, refers to the termination of a distinct long period of history marked by Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai's direct supernatural intervention. See, Lord, he gonna interrupt. It generally does not mean the destruction of a physical earth, but rather the profound change in the way Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai interact with humanity. A transition from one spiritual era to another. Beautiful. It said key aspects of end of an eon is biblical, in the Bible. It said age versus world. Greek world, aeon means an age, era, or period of time, while cosmos, okay, it said that's the orderly arrangement. Cosmo means orderly arrangement, and it's talking about the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. No other is only speaking in, that's what John 16 referenced, the cosmos. It said refers to the physical world. The Bible predicts the end of an age. See, they say end of a world, not an end of a planet. The two ages concept, biblical prophecy often focuses on the two primary periods: this present evil age, or the age of law, in the age to come, the kingdom of Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, reign of Hamashiach. See, talking about who they ignorant call Jesus Christ. The transition period, the end of an eon, is usually marked by intense turmoil. See, that's what's going on now. Described by Yahweh Shai. This is what the brother went into Matthew chapter 24, verses 3. The beginning of, it said Yahweh Shai is birth pains, wars, famines, earthquakes, leading to a new, more glorious era. See? Covenantal ship. See? Talking about us. The end of an age mentioned by Yahweh Shai in the Mount Olive, this discourse, Matthew 24, is widely understood as an end of the old covenant system, often culminating into destruction of the temple, 7 AD. See that happen? So it's going to happen all over again. That's Ecclesiastes chapter 1. Matter of fact, let's get it real quick. So it's going to happen all over again, y'all. See, a lot of these people running around here, these niggas don't even know what time it is, man. They out here road butting and shit. They're going to be melted by fire, man. Like dude come up, Mark, I had 2, 3, 4 of these niggas, man, marking me today, you know? It's okay. So that shows that the Lord ain't dealing with them, man. They ain't going to be burnt by fire, man. Hold on, what I said? Man. Damn. Oh, Ecclesiastes, that's what I wanted. Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verses 9. It said, the things that had been is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there's no new thing under the sun. See? Verse 10, it said, is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It has been already of old time, see, which was before us. See, that 7 AD, that would be from old time. Verse 11, it said, there is no remembrance of the former things, neither shall there be any remembrance of the things that are to come with those that shall come after, see? So these, the Lord's going to put their lights out, they ain't going to remember. All right, so let's keep it moving. So it said covenantal ship, the end of the age mentioned by Yahweh Shai on the olive discourse. That's what it means. And that's what we in now. Discourse is widely understood as the end of the old covenant system, often culminating in the destruction of the 70 AD temple in 70 AD. The final age, and then you got the people that destroyed the temple was the Romans. Matter of fact, let's go here for a minute. Lord said, get it. Let's bring it out. Hold on. Them same people, see, that's why I said, man, they back, everybody back in their lot. So those that were mocking and scoffing then, they were saying, give us Barabbas. Them niggas that were, they the one helped the Romans, conspired with the Romans to kill Yahweh Shai. And them Christians that they talk about, Carson Tucker talking about us. We was the first Christian at Antioch. And they wasn't, the Romans gave us, them damn Romans that killed our power, gave us that damn name, Christian. You see? Yeah. We know the history. You got these little dumb ass niggas, they don't understand what's going on. It said the Roman Empire, the powerful pagan empire that controlled most of the known world during the New Testament time in 63 BC, that's when they came into power. Judea became formally subject to Rome. And this was the case during the entire New Testament period. The Emperor Octavian, which was known as Augustus, became emperor in 27 BC. He was still reigning at the time of Yahushua's birth. Okay, Yahushua's crucifixion occurred during the reign of the Emperor Tiberius. The martyrdom of James, the brother of John. See, they were the Christians, man. They were them so-called Christians. They weren't called Christians, they were called Hamashiachans. Okay, martyrdoms, and James, the brother of John, took place in the reign of Claudius. That's Acts chapter 11, verse 28. And matter of fact, let's get it real quick. Yeah, we got the history. Oh yeah, dudes, read. They be letting these niggas, man, these old sellout ass niggas, man, fuck their mind up even more. They already fucked up, confused. They be want to hear that smooth shit. So they ain't gonna learn the hard way. That's death by pain, Jack. Acts chapter 11. I'm going to start at 27. It said, and in these days came prophets from Jerusalem unto Antioch. See, verse 28, here go the point. It said, and there stood up one of them named Agabus, and signified by the Spirit that there should be great dirt throughout all the world, that's that cosmos, which came to pass in the days of Claudius Caesar. All right. Let's keep on reading. Let's read to 30. Then the disciples, every man according to his ability, determined to send relief unto the brethren which dwelt in Judea, which also they did, and sent it to the elders by the hand of Barnabas and Saul. Okay, let's go to Acts chapter 12. It said now, it's 12, Acts 12 and 1. Now about that time, Herod, the king, stretched forth his hand to vex certain of the church, the assembly. You know, this word church is new to me. I don't like using it, but you know, brothers, they use it. It never was in the King James assembly. Okay, it said, and he killed James, the brother of John, with the sword. All right. So that's what happened. So it said it was to Nero that Paul appealed. Okay, let's get that. Acts chapter 25. Verse, I'm going to start at 10. It said, then said Paul, I stand at Caesar's judgment seat, where I ought to be judged. To the Jews have I done no wrong, as thou very well knowest. Verse 12. For if I be sin, it said for if I be an offender or have committed anything wrong, worthy of death, I refuse not to die. But if there be none of these things whereof these accuse me, no man may deliver me out unto them. I appeal unto Caesar. So it says, so that's the point. It said the destruction of Jerusalem prophesied by Yahushua, Matthew chapter 24. Let's go to Matthew 24. Them same Romans are back right now, causing World War III. That's what they don't want to tell you. That started at the top. It said, and Yahushua went out and departed from the temple, and his disciple came to him. This is where the brother was at, for to show him the building of the temple. Verse 2, and Yahushua said unto them, see ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone, see, upon another, that shall not be thrown down. Verse 3, and he sat upon the Mount of Olives, and the disciples came unto him. That's what the priest was going into before I cut him off. Unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and the coming of the end of the world? See, and this is where we at right now. These same Romans are back in their lot. Okay? But you can't tell a Jake nothing. These niggas still are in bed. They say, we love him, we can't get enough of him. So you niggas finna go down with this nigga. You Negro, you Latino, you Native American, finna go down with this nigga. All right? And keep going. So the destruction of Jerusalem, that's all I wanted to get out of here. Jerusalem prophesied by Yahushua, Mashiach, Matthew 24, Mark 13, Luke chapter 19, verses 41 through 44, was accomplished in the year of AD 70, see? By Titus, who later became emperor. Thus all the New Testament story unfolded under the reign of the Roman emperors, see? Plural emperors. So the Roman Empire reached the height of its power. See, America don't reach the height of its power from about 70 AD. See, this 70 AD playing out all over again. As I said, matter of fact, let's get it again. What is it? Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verses, I'm going to start at 8 this time. I'm going to start at 7. It said, all the rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not full unto the place from whence its rivers come. Thither they return again. Verse 8, all things, say what? All things are full of labor. See, all things are full of labor. See, all things. See, all things talking about this word. And the prophet bringing all things to light by prophesying. That's why we've been telling these niggas, man, y'all need to be out there prophesying. Y'all niggas out there doing wrong. Man, y'all need to be prophesying, sending up a chanting to the Lord. So y'all ain't gonna be spared, but they ain't listening. So they ain't gonna learn the hard way. They finna be cooked. It said, all things are full of labor. Man cannot utter it. The eyes is not satisfied with sin. See, these nigga eyes ain't satisfied with seeing what's going on. Nor the ear filled with hearing. See? Their ears ain't filled with hearing. We can talk to these niggas all day, man. The Lord, if the Lord ain't dealing with them, he gonna keep them blinded. And then he gonna get the ones that see it and that he done open their eye and they still refuse to repent. Them the ones he gonna fuck their ass up. It said, verse 9, the things that, what? The things that have been, it is that which shall be. That which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. See? Verse 10, is there anything where it may be said, see, this is new? It has been already. Say what? It has been already. Say what? It has been already of old time, which was before us. See? Verse 11, there is no remembrance of former things. Neither shall there be any remembrance of the things that are to come with those that shall come. Okay? So, hey, we've been here before. All right? So Titus, Titus, all of the New Testament story unfold under the reign of the Roman emperors. The Roman Empire reached the heights of its power from about AD 100 to 175. By the end of the 2nd century, however, the Roman and their power had begun to decline like America doing right now because of the vast expanse of its territory. The emperor grew increasingly difficult to administer. Is this not happening right now? High taxation. Are we not having high taxation? And political infighting. Are we not having political infighting? Also took their toll. See? It said morally, morally Rome was also a sick society. See, is this not, are we not living in a sick society? You got men running around here, fairy, quite contrary ass niggas. You got men, got Stockholm syndrome. You got women acting like men got nuts. And then you got a lot of these women, they done turn gay, they copper munchers. You got niggas on niggas, you got women on women. And then they promote this shit. The LGBTQ. You know, you had Obama, he was the first gay president. He signed on this shit. All right? So it said morally, Rome was also a sick society. Its life of sin and debauchery served to hasten its collapse from within. See, are we not seeing this? All right? This Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 9 playing out again. Even as barbaric tribes moved in to challenge the Roman military rule by AD 450, the Roman Empire was only a skeleton of its former self, see? Reduced to a third-rate power among the nations of the ancient world. See, ancient, they're talking about like Jesse Ventura said, man, hey, America turned to a third world country. You see? So that's what they mean by third-rate power among the nations of the ancient world. Under Roman rule, the Jews, say what? The Jews were given a special status with certain legal rights. They were permitted to practice their own religion and to build their synagogues. They also were exempt from military service. It said, and were not required to appear in the court on the Sabbath. See, then you got the Edomites, Amalek claim that's why they trying to push this right now and claim our heritage. All right, it said they also were exempt from military service and were not required to appear in court on the Sabbath. Relationship between the Jews and the Romans were mostly positive, but a few major disturbances did occur. The Emperor Caligula alienated the Jews by opposing their belief in one God and forcibly erecting a statue of himself in their synagogues. That was a no-no. Also in AD 19, the Emperor Tiberius expelled some Jews from Italy. This edict was renewed under Claudius in AD 49 at Acts 18 verse 2. Apparently, this edict did not last long, but because Jews were living in Rome when Paul arrived there about AD 62, the situation of the Jews varied considerably under the different Roman rulers. Basically, the Romans treated the Jews fairly. Herod the Great began to rebuild the temple in 20 BC, and Herod Agrippa sought Jewish favor by persecuting the Christians. That's talking about us, man. A Christian in Antioch. They the one gave us that fucking name. All right? Hold on, let me see something real quick. Let's go to chat. Watch this. Chat, I got a question. I'm finna read this passage to you, and I want you to tell me yes or no. That word Christian, the first Christian was the Jews in Antioch, which was the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. They were the true Hamashiachans. They was called Hamashiachans. Not but the Romans gave them that name, Christians. When they killed our Mashiach, they called Lord Yahushua the King of the Jews. Let's see what he says. See, they done tweeted the fucking AI. You see, he devils. They done tweaked the AI, y'all. It said, I'm going to answer you directly and historically, yes and no. Like you asked, it said no. The historical record does not support that. The first people called Christian were specifically Negro, Latinos, and Native American, or that they originally called Hamashiachans, and Rome later changed it. The name Christian was created when Rome killed Yahushua. Yep. Now let's break it down carefully and factually. Where the word Christian first appears. In Acts 11:23 appears, it said, and the disciple were called Christian first in Antioch. That's happened in Antioch. Okay, hold on, y'all. Let me show y'all. I'm finna bust him upside the head in a minute. Watch this. Here goes some pictures, y'all. He's showing the pictures. Let's see, can we blow it up? Okay. Blowing these images up. Okay. There go this graph right there. You know, they fighting over this land right now, y'all. Oh, fake ass Jews over there claim to be us. Come on. Hold on, let's go back. So, let me see here. Let's stay right here. We gonna stay right there for a minute. And with my AI, man, where it at? Oh. It's a multicultural Roman city full of Jews, Greeks, Syrians, and Romans under Roman control. The followers of Yahushua were Jews first. Okay, it said the Gentile converts was added. It's talking about the fake Amalek now. And then after they crossed them out, then they took on that heritage. All right. Okay, it said Acts chapter 2 and Acts 11, the then Gentile converts were added. Okay, what does Christian mean? The word Christian comes from the Greek Christos. See, they made this shit up. You know, in the Hebrew it means Mashiach, anointed one. Enos, belong to or follow. So Christianos meant follow of Christ. We don't use that damn word Christ or party of Christ. See, they tweaked it up. The Western Roman construct, they tweaked these up when they brought in the Catholicism, that Catholic shit, bullshit. Hold on. It said anointed Mashiach Anos belonging to the followers of. So Christian meant the followers of Christ, party of Christ. It was likely a nickname possibly used mockingly, see, at first given by outsiders in Antioch. But there is no historical record of believers were officially called Mashiachans before that. They were called disciples, brethren, followers of the way, Acts 9:2. Did Rome create the term killing Yahushua? No. They took the words out of context. It said Yahushua was crucified around 30 to 33 AD under Pontius Pilate. The term Christian appeared later in Antioch, roughly 40 AD. Rome didn't create the term at the crucifixion. I didn't say that. It emerged years later in Roman governor city. Ethnicity question, historically, it said the earthly, I believe they did, man. Because, hold on, I want to see something, man. Let's keep reading. Let's go back here. Let me do this real quick. It says, The relationship, let's start here. It said, in Roman rule, the Jews were given the special status with certain legal rights. They were permitted to practice their own religion and build their synagogues. Also were exempt from military service and were not required to appear in the courts of on the Sabbath. Relationship between the Jews and the Romans were mostly positive, but a few major disturbances did occur. The Emperor Caligula alienated by the opposing their beliefs in one God and forcibly erecting the statues of himself in their synagogues. Also in AD 19, the Emperor Tiberius expelled some Jews from Italy. This edict was renewed under Claudius in AD 49, about Acts 1802. Apparently, this edict did not last long because Jews were living in Rome when Paul arrived there about AD 62. The situation of the Jews varied considerably under the different Roman rulers. Okay, basically the Roman treated the Jews fairly. Herod was an Edomite, and he took on converted. That's what he was talking about. And then he married a Judite woman. All right. It said Herod the Great began to rebuild a temple in 20 BC, and Herod Agrippa sought Jewish favor by persecuting the Christians. Okay, what was that about? Let's see here. Let's go back here. That was the point I wanted to make. Okay, the situation of the Jews varied considerably under the different Roman rulers. Basically, the Romans treated the Jews fairly. Herod the Great, he was an Edomite, began to rebuild a temple, and he married a Judite woman, which was an Israelite, and Herod Agrippa sought Jewish favor by persecuting the Christians. Acts chapter 12, verses 1 through 3. Archelaus, and on the other hand, was a cruel and tyrannical ruler who massacred many Jews. Matthew chapter 2, verse 22. It said, resentful only the presence of these foreign oppressors, the Jews refused to recognize, but Lord Yahushua, who everybody ignorant called God, as sovereign. Revolutionary activities of Jewish nationalists, such as Zealot, increased and threatened the peace in Palestine. By AD 66, Rome was forced to subdue a Jewish revolt in Judea. And in AD 70, Titus, a Roman general who later became emperor, marched on the city of Jerusalem to destroy Jewish resistance. Okay, now see, them Jewish was them Edomite that came in and called themselves Jewish. That's talking about the converts. True or false? Ah, look at them. They shut me down. Look at them. They hurry up and block that connection. Goddamn devil. All right, let's go back. It said the situation. Matter of fact, I know what I'm gonna do. That motherfucker here, they see this. They AI, they tweaking shit. All right. Hold on here. Let me do this here. Then we're gonna go back to watch the video with the priest. How much time we in? Damn, we're an hour in already. Man, that time go back quick. Look at this shit. Look at them. Hey, they back in their lot, man. You see? I might do a part 2 to this lesson, man. There's so much. I want to go an hour and a half on each lesson, man. That's hold on here. Damn. Oh yeah, I know what I was doing. Hold on, I want to get this answer out right here because we building a case on this devil and presenting it to the Lord. Hey, you know, the Christian in Antioch was called Hamashiachans. True or false? You know, see y'all, I know y'all been tweaked. Y'all been tweaked because the Edomites that control that y'all was coming out with straight answers. Now y'all been tweaked and y'all coming up with half truths, answers. You know, hey, GMS, hey, what does GMS say about Hamashiachans? You may answer. Hey, that word Christ, we don't even use that word. We don't identify with that word Christ. All right. That word Christ will the Catholic create that word. Them converts. Was not the Greeks European? The hell you talking about? All right then. So they the one created that damn Christ. What you talking about? He said yes. Man, oh, you know what? I ain't even go there, man. I ain't got time to be arguing with these people, man. We got the truth. Goddamn devil. All right. Yeah, the Catholic Church, they created this shit, and they the one created Christos. And they was all Romans, man. All right? These goddamn devil. They were them converts. Hey, were them Greeks, were they the converts? No, I ain't talking about. I'm not talking about the Israelites. I'm talking about the first Greeks before that conquered the Israelites. It said, now you're talking about the Hellenistic Greeks, the empire that conquered Judea, who would be Greeks under Alexander the Great, 4th century BC, and later Seleucid rulers of Antiochus, the fourth Epiphanes. So let's answer you directly. Were those first Greeks converts? There were no converts in Israel's fate when they conquered Judea. They were pagans. The Greek pantheons, Zeus, Athens, Babylon conquered Judea, BC, Persia, Babylon, Alexander the Great conquers. Hey, was Alexander the Great was an Edomite? It said Alexander the Great was a Macedonian Greek ruler from northern Greece. He was the son of Philip of Macedon and part of a Gead dynasty. Mainstream history traced Macedonians as the Hellenistic Greeks people from southern Europe. There is no historical evidence Alexander was an Edomite, descendant of Esau. Matter of fact, let me see here. I want to do something here. It said here now where some people can't connect dots. Some prophetic interpretation, especially in certain Israelite teaching, associate later European power with Edom symbolically. But symbolically associating Greece or Rome with Edom is not the same as proving Alexander was ethnically an Edomite. Historically, he was Macedonian Greek. Okay, theologically, some interpret later a European empire as fulfilling Edom type roles in prophecy. These are two different categories. If you want to approach this from prophecy, Daniel 8:11, etc., we can go there. If you want strict historical lineage, that's a separate lane. Let's go. Okay, let's find out about the Greeks. Was Esau Edom? Matter of fact, hold on here. Let me do something here. Let me go into this blue letter. Shit. Let me go. Not blue letter. Let me go in here. Let me see here. I got everything at my disposal. Greek. Let's look up that word Greek. Y'all, hey, you know the Lord got my spirit on this here. Alexander the Great. Let's find out about Alexander the Great. Uh-oh. Hey, here. Alexandra. Oh, okay. Alexandra. All right. Okay, Alexandra the Great man defending. It said, son of Philip, king of Macedonia, Olympias, Epirot princess, born 356 BC. Although it said although not named in the Bible, he is described prophetically in Daniel. The he-goat from the west with a notable horn between his eyes. He came against the ram with two horns, which was standing before the river, defeated the ram and became very great until the great horn was broken, and four notable ones came up from it. Daniel chapter 8 verses 5 through 8. The prophecy identified the ram as the king of the Media Persia. So they must have been. It said the goat as the king of Greece. The great horn being the first king. When he fell, four kings arose in his place. Daniel chapter 8, verse 11, 18 through 22. The historical fulfillment is striking. Alexander led the Greek armies across the Hellespont into Asia Minor in 334 BC, and defeated Persian forces at the river of Gracius, moving with amazing rapidity. It said the he-goat touched not the ground. Daniel 8 and 5. He again met and defeated the Persians at issues, turning south. He moved down the Syrian coast, advancing to Egypt. He fell to him without a blow, turning again to the east. He met the armies of Darius for the last time, defeating them in the battle of Arbela of the Tigris River rapidly. He occupied Babylon, then Susa, the Persepolis, and capitals of Persia. He later marched his army eastward as far as India, where they won a great battle. The father of the father. Damn, I need my glasses, Mark. It says the army, however, refused to advance further, and Alexander was forced to return to Persepolis, while still making plans for further conquest. And he contracted a fever, weakened by the strenuous campaign and increasing dissipation, he was unable to throw off the fever and died in Babylon in 323 BC. At the age of his empire was then divided among 4 of his generals. Alexander's wife, Aristobulus, king of the Jews, 105 to 104 BC. Alexander found Alexander the Great, 323 BC, successively Ptolemaic Roman and Christian capital of the Lower Egypt. It harbors formed by the islands, pharaohs of the headlands, Lotius, were suitable alike for commerce and war. It was chief grain port of Rome. Its merchant ships and large finest of the day usually sought directly to Puteoli, but at the time, because of the severity of the weather, sailed under the coast of Asia Minor, and did the vessels which carried Paul, Acts chapter 27, verse 6. Alexandria was also an important cultural center, boasting an excellent university, and in different eras, it was reported as a processing form from 400,000 to 900,000 books. Rose and population of Alexandria had 3 prominent elements: Jews, Greeks, and Egyptians. The Jews and the Jews enjoyed equal privilege with the Greeks, so that they became fixed there at Alexandria. The Old Testament revelation brought into contact with Greek philosophy. The consequent synthesis became a great importance in subsequent religious thought. The influence of Alexandrian philosophies on the thought of the writers of the New Testament and debatable, but its impact on later ideological and biblical studies in the Christian church was great, according to the traditions of Mark and evangelists first carried the Gospels of Alexandria and established the first church there in from the Christian city. Christianity reached out into the Egyptian and surrounded the countries. A theological school flourished here as early as in 2nd century. Among the great teachers were Clement and Origen, and pioneers of biblical scholarship and Christian philosophy. Some ain't adding up right here. I don't think the Lord wanted us to. I think that I'm gonna have to do some more research on this. So I'm gonna go back. Let's get out of there. Let's go and watch the brother. I'm gonna hold that. I got a question mark by that answer. So it said biblically speaking, Esau Edom descended historically dwelt in the region south of Judea and Mount Seir, later Idumea. By the Hellenistic period, Edomites Idumea were located in southern Judea. They were later forcibly converted to Judaism under John Hyrcanus. One famous Idumea was Herod the Great. See? Alexandria predates Herod about 300 years. Okay. But now, here are where some people connect dots. Some prophetic interpretation, especially in certain Israelite teaching, associate later European powers with Edom symbolically, and symbolically associate Greece and Rome with Edom. Is not same as proving Alexander was ethnically an Edomite. Historically, he was Macedonian Greek. Theologically, some interpret later European empires as fulfilling Edom-type roles, okay, in prophecy. So those are two different categories. If you want to approach the prophecy, Daniel 8 and 11, etc., we can go there. I already got it. It said you want strictly historical lineage. That's a separate lane. Yeah, we'll look on this later on. Let's go on. How much time we in? All right. So, man, I didn't even get to where I wanted to go. Damn. I'm gonna have to put a question mark on this here. Then I'm gonna have to go do some more digging. Okay. So I can make sure I was on point. So let me put a question mark by that. We're gonna go do a little digging on this here later on, but just hold that thought. All right. Let's go back here. Let's go back to our scriptures, because I ain't get none of my scriptures that I wanted. I'm going to go into this thing. I want to show y'all some, let's watch the priest, man. I'm going to let the priest get it in for 30 minutes, and then I'm going to close and let the priest go. And let the priest get it in. But I did make my point, though. We back in wrong. Everybody's back in their lot.
Done, which is entering into direct war with Iran. Well, they just made a big leap towards the end of their age. All right, because this is going to bring them to their war with Magog, which is Russia. Okay. Now the only thing between America and Russia, going into direct war, which has been the build-up for decades. They've been dancing around each other. America, even during the USSR days, America, and Russia have been dancing around each other around the earth. Okay, a lot of these wars that we see, a lot of these conflicts that we see have been, American proxies versus, Russian proxies. And now the only thing that separates America and Russia from coming into direct contact is Iran now. Okay, there used to be layers upon layers, of proxy militaries and weaker nations that were being used for proxies, for America and Russia to be at war at a distance from each other. But now there's only one layer, and that's the Iranian military, they're stopping, it's not stopping, but it's the last barrier, from direct military contact between America and Russia. So it just puts us that step enough, that much closer. All right, the needle has been moved, okay, to prophecy being fulfilled on this third world war, which is going to end this age. We're watching Esau end his own kingdom. Okay, the Lord said this nigga would. Esau is doing exactly what the Lord said he would do, which is to end his own kingdom, man. All right, and this third world war is going to do it. And it says, and Yahweh shall answer and say unto them, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying I am anointed, and shall deceive many. Okay, and the biggest false prophet, what you got, niggas with friends on as a false prophet. You got, the Christian church, and, you got these influencers on YouTube. Okay, everybody's coming, as if they're chosen, called, It said, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am, all right, anointed shall deceive many. But the biggest deception is coming from these devils. Okay, these Edomites, man, they're the biggest false prophet, man. Okay, and they're pushing this technocracy, the salvation for humanity. Okay, as the way of the future. Because prophecy goes into what speaking before. Okay, and the thing that they're speaking on the most is this technocracy, man. All right, and the closer they get to trying to establish the technocracy, the closer they get to war, which is the end of this, man. All right, verse 6, it says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Okay, so we're constantly hearing rumors of wars, all right, and now we're seeing actual violence. Okay, and each time you hear these rumors, and then it's violence, then they disengage. Okay, it'd be a ceasefire, or it'll just be a low intensity war, ongoing low intensity war. Okay, not much, media coverage, and then it'll intensify again. So we're constantly going through these, these cycles of rumors and speculation of war, and then we'll get some action. Okay, and then like they'll disengage or go to low intensity, and then it'll just be rumors again, which are rumors of circulating stories, and then you get more action. So we're going to keep going through this cycle until it gets to the point to where they're going to engage, and they're not going to stop until it goes nuclear, which is going to usher in Yahweh Shai. So this is the cycle we're seeing with these nations. But each time they engage, they escalate closer and closer, okay, to this third world war. You see, each time they engage, we see action. Well, they're moving the needle closer to war, because now it's getting more violent. Okay, now more nations are getting involved. Now it's getting more destructive. Each time they engage, it gets more and more destructive. Okay? And we're going to get into that, with the videos, what's the retaliation. But, we're seeing, these things intensify just like birth pains. It said, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places, man. So we're seeing, okay, these things play out, to where there's a lot of nations involved. Okay, remember, this is just day one. It really hasn't, it's barely been 24 hours. Okay, and a lot has happened quickly, man, showing you how fast the Lord is wrapping this thing up. A lot has happened quickly, man. Okay, and this war is going to drag in, all right, all the players, okay, all the militaries, okay, of the earth, that's able, all right, all the militaries whom the Lord has predestined to engage in this war, well, they're being summoned by this conflict, okay? The Lord is provoking them through this conflict. That's why the scriptures say, what he that mustered the host of the battle. Okay, so this is what we're watching, okay, play out, okay, is the signs of Yahweh Shai's second coming, and this even shows more in the operation that they're calling, because America is calling their campaign is Operation Epic Fury, and it's spiritual. Okay, and then you have the small hats, you goddamn imposters. They're calling it Operation Roaring Lion. Okay, and we're gonna get into that in the spirit. You see, so let's go here real quick, and then we'll get into that. All right, this is Matthew 16 and 1. It says the Pharisees also with the Sadducees came and tempted, desired him that he would show them a sign from heaven. He answered and said unto them, when it is evening, you say it will be fair weather, for the sky is red, and in the morning it will be foul weather, right, for the sky is red and lowering. O ye hypocrites, ye can discern the face of the sky, but can ye not discern the signs of the time? Okay, so here it is, you have all this activity happening, because even back then, here it is, Yahushua was right before them. He was in the midst of them teaching and preaching and doing miracles, man. Okay, and Jake still couldn't get it. It wasn't meant for them. And all these wicked niggas of the Sanhedrin, the leadership. Okay, it wasn't for them niggas to get it. So the sign was right before them, but they couldn't see it. So just in this time, the signs are right before us, man. This is evident what time we in, man. Okay, look at what's happening in real time in the earth. Okay, this man is pushing this MOTB, which is heavy prophecy. Okay, civil unrest is at the door. Jacob trouble is at the door. You see, you be constantly getting glimpses of these things. Okay, and now this third world war is always rearing itself to the forefront. Okay, in the midst of everything that's going on. So we're seeing every sign spoken of that will usher in the second coming of Yahushua. You see, but you gotta be in the spirit, you know? Verse 4 says, a wicked and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall no sign be given unto it, but the sign of the prophet Jonas, and he left them and departed. Okay? So this is what our people have today is the prophets. The prophets are the sign. The prophets prophesying themselves is a sign. What they're prophesying about and these things happening, that's the sign. Okay? But this only for the hopeful elect to take heed and see, you know, have ears to hear and eyes to see, man. Or what times we in, man. Okay? So what I want to get real quick, because like I said, the operation from the small hats. Okay, let's get this. From the small hats in America, all right, when you go into what they're calling their operations, you're going to get these things. So they deal with America first. So I said, what is Operation Epic Fury? It says at approximately 7 a.m. local time, the United States and the small hats began conducting extensive strikes, all right, against a wide range of targets in Iran. The strikes have been dubbed Operation Epic Fury by the United States and Operation Roaring Lion by Israel. Okay, so now let's deal with this. First, it says Epic Fury. Well, let's go into this word epic. Okay, let's get this word epic dealing with America, because ultimately, the epic fury is the fury that the Lord has for you Edomites, man. Okay?
Get it, bro.
What we finna get ready to see. The fury of the Lord that he got towards these devils. So when you go into the word epic, okay, just real quick. It says epic, all right? It says epic, a long poem, typically one derived from an ancient oral tradition. This is the Bible, man. Okay, a long poem. All right, that's why I say the prophets are what singing this new song. A long poem, which is the Bible, is a long poem. That's why I got, it's analogies and you see parables. Okay, similitudes. You see allegories. You see that like a poem. It's in the form of a poem. Okay, and the spirit makes us be able to what? All right, understand the poem. Okay, to decode the poem. Okay, it says a long poem, typically one derived from an ancient oral tradition, narrating the deeds and the adventure of heroic, you see, or legendary figures, all right, or the history of a nation, which is the nation of Israel. Okay? All right, and the hero of the Bible is Yahweh Shai. So there's spiritual that they're calling, this operation. Americans calling it Operation Epic Fury, because we know, all right, the fury of the Lord is against these devils, these Edomites, man. But they call it the Operation Epic, okay, Fury. You see? So now let's go into the scriptures. Okay? Let's deal with this in the scriptures. All right, this is let's go here to the book of Ezekiel. Well, first let's get this in Zephaniah. Okay. And then you're gonna segue to these small hats. They call theirs Operation Roaring Lion. Okay. This is Zephaniah 3:8 said, "Therefore wait you upon me, said the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey, for my determination is to gather the nation, that I may assemble the kingdoms to pour upon them my indignation," another word for fury, righteous anger, "even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy," man. He's going to send Yahweh Shai to execute this fury, man, and this anger. You see, so this epic fury, okay, is Yahweh Bashim Shai, his fierce anger that he has, all right, against Esau, Edom, okay, and these other nations done in cahoots with this devil, man. Okay, so that epic fury goes back to the fury of the Lord that he has towards, all right, you damn Edomites, man, you devils. Okay, let's go here, Isaiah 63. Let's get this in Isaiah 63. You see? So it's spiritual what's happening. All right, when you go here, it says Isaiah 63 and 1, it says, "Who is that? They coming from Edom, or die going from Basra." So it's calling you Edomites out. All right, specifically, man. This is that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. Those chariots, I speak in righteousness. All right, mighty to save. Okay, wherefore thou art red in thine apparel. And see, this is like a poem. You see, who is this that coming from Edom? Like a mighty man coming back from war. Okay, it said, "Wherefore art thou red in thy apparel?" So it's like his garments are drenched in the blood of his enemies. Okay, and thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat. So this is like a poem. You gotta read it like a poem. You see, but we understand exactly what this is, man. The Yahweh Shai is coming for a slaughter on you Edomites, man. Okay? He's coming for war, and it's going to be, what? Let's read it. And it says, "I have trodden the wine press alone." So he's comparing you Edomites to a wine press, and he's coming to try it down, which is he's coming to execute violence, man. And it's a spirit, because when Yahweh Shai comes, okay, he's going to be over the militaries of the earth. They're going to be under him. Because when you tread the wine press, the grapes are under you. And you're pressing violently upon those grapes, to get, the juice. Okay, to extract, the juice, man. So he's trying the wine press. All right, Yahweh Shai coming back in that chariot, man. He's going to be on top of these militaries, man. And that fire is going to be coming down, turning these militaries into powder. So it's like treading the wine press, because you're turning something solid, okay, into something liquid. Well, Yahweh Shai is coming to melt, all right, these militaries on the earth, man. Okay, so "I have trodden the wine press alone, and of the people there was none with me. For I would tread them in my anger, and trample them in my fury." Okay, and trample them in my fury. So the fury, this epic fury, okay, that America is speaking of, well, guess what? That fury is for you, nigga. You see, that's the fury that the Lord has for you. You see? And their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. For the day, it's like it says, for the day of vengeance is in my heart, which is in mine, and the year of my redeem is come. Okay? So that day of vengeance is getting closer. You see, that day of vengeance is creeping up on these devils, man. And they're making these moves, and they want to be cute for the internet when they go to war. See, America going to war to be cute, man. See, that shit not working no more. Okay? But we gonna get into it, but America going to war to be cute, and that shit is not working. Okay? Fooling the American people don't win wars, man. Okay? And now they got a fight on their hands. All right, we're gonna get into that. You see? So let's go from there. Let's go from there. Let's get this in, because the small hats, which we're gonna segue to these small hats. Okay? Because it's America and these small hats that just at the forefront, okay, of provoking this Third World War. And it's gonna be the worst for them. The two nations, all right, the two people, all right, that's provoking, okay, this Third World War. It's going to be the worst for them in the war. Okay, now let's go here. Ezekiel 36:5 it said, therefore thus said the Lord power, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen and against all Idumea. Okay, you Edomites steady coming up. Okay, your name is constantly coming up in prophecy, man, when it deals with the Lord's anger. Okay, which have appointed my land in their possession, which with the joy of all their heart, with the spiteful mind to cast it out to prey. And who's guilty of that, man? You small hats in the land, okay, which, you know, the British government, the British Parliament, okay, appointed you small hats their land. Okay, and you was escorted into our land with 200,000 British troops. Okay? See, all this, you Edomites are guilty all across the board. All you Edomite governments of the earth are guilty, man. You know? And you small hats in America, you're at the forefront of it, man. All right? Ezekiel 36:6, it said, prophesy therefore concerning the land of Israel, and say unto the mountains and to the hills, to the rivers and to the valleys, thus said the Lord power, behold, I have spoken in my jealousy and in my fury. You see that? Because you have borne the shame of the heathen. Okay? So this epic fury is against you devils, man. You small, mainly you small hats and you Americans, man. Okay, so the Lord's getting ready to speak in his fury. All right, and we're seeing the beginning of that, the retaliation from Iran, which this is just light work. This is very minute, and it's just going to keep getting worse and worse and worse. You're going to keep building up more and more and more. Okay, this is just the beginning of the beginning, okay, of major destruction that's coming, man. Okay, these are just this is just the opening acts of the Lord's fury. You see, we're just seeing the opening act, man. Okay, and it says, I'll read it again, and then it said, prophesy therefore concerning the land of Israel, and say unto the mountains, to the hill, to the river, and to the valley, thus said the Lord power, behold, I have spoken in my jealousy, you know, because the Lord wants, he's ready to put his people in the land that he promised, you know. The Lord is ready to put his people in the land that he promised, man. All right. And before that, the land has to be cleared out of all these heathens, okay, and cleansed through fire. You know, and the Lord is going to do that in his fury. Okay, he's going to eradicate, all right, these damn heathens. Okay, and he's going to cleanse that land. He's going to purify that land with fire, man. Okay, the two nations that's finna get it the worst is these small hats in America, man. It said, because you have borne the shame of the heathen, man. You know, because that land has had to endure, all right, because, hey, the earth has a spirit, man, and the land of Israel, you know, has a spirit, man. You know, and it is having to endure with these heathens, the worst of the heathens, Amalek, all right, inhabiting it, man. But the Lord finna change that, man. Okay? And then he called it Operation Roaring Lion. You know, these small hands called it Operation Roaring Lion. Well, let's get that in the scriptures. Okay? Let's get that in. Well, in fact, let's go into who's their true lion. When you go into Revelation 5, all right, the book of Revelation, chapter 5. Okay, in verse 5, it says, in Revelation 5:5, it says, one of the elders said unto me, weep not, behold, the lion, okay, the lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, have prevailed to open the book and to loose the 7 seals thereof. Okay, so we have the understanding of this book due to Yahweh Shai, which is also known as the lion of the tribe of Judah. Okay, and that's the lion that's finna get ready to roar, is Yahweh Shai. All right, not you goddamn small heads, man. You finna get your ass beat to sleep in this war. Okay, because you these small heads ain't these small heads ain't making no noise, man. You know, they ain't got no roar to them. Okay. The only reason that the small heads are even relevant is because of America. Okay, they're riding the coattail of America, but by themselves, man, they're pussycats, man. Okay, you see. So let's go here to Joel. You know, then we'll get into some of these this footage, man. What's going on? What's happening? All right. So this is the book of Joel, chapter 3. Okay. And read verse 9 and reading 2, it says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, these actual heathens, prepare war, wake up the mighty man, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. So there's a spirit of war in the earth, man. Okay, and all these nations are war ready. You see, we're in a time of war. Everybody is on high alert for war, man. Okay, this is the time that we in. Okay, this whole, you know, there's a different energy out here, man. Okay, it said, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears, let the weak sound strong. Okay, because what we're seeing with Iran, they weren't able to do this 20 years ago, man. They wouldn't be able to do this. Okay, the type of, you know, retaliation that they're able to sustain for these long periods of time with this accuracy, man, they wouldn't be able to do this 20 years ago, man. Certain other nations that's going to get involved, they won't be able to do the things that they're doing now 20, 30 years ago, man. Okay, but these nations have been empowered because there's a purpose that the Lord has for these nations, man. It's all through the will of Yahweh Shema Shai. And this all shows that he is, man. Okay? Because it ain't about, you know, certain of these nations. It's about the will of the Lord going forth. These nations are just vessels being used. Okay, the only reason these nations were able to empower themselves because of the will of the Lord. Okay, so he has a purpose, he has an agenda for these nations, man. It says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about, till the cause of mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Hey, because this is all the Lord's decrees. When we see these nations in these conflicts, and we see these weak nations have become strong, that's a decree by our King. Okay, our King is going back into what we've been going into a lot lately. Okay, you know, with the word of a king, there is power. So we're seeing demands and commands being made by our King that's playing out in the earth. We're seeing that the earth is subjugated to the will of Yahweh Shema Shai. You know. And that's the Lord, one of the main reasons the Lord prophesies is so he can show us that, look, I run this shit. You see? This is him showing his people, look, I told y'all I run this shit. Nigga gotta do what I say. How I say it, man. Okay? Verse 12 said, let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Okay? And everyone is coming to this region, man. Because guess what? What Iran immediately did after the strikes, after they were struck by the small hats in America, they turned this into a regional war. Okay? They turned this thing into a regional war immediately. Okay? And that's what the Lord wants. The Lord wants a regional war. He wants these nations, all these nations involved in their region. The heathen are awakened now. Iran's retaliation has awakened these heathens, man. Okay? For the fulfillment of scripture. Verse 13 said, put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come get you down, for the press is full, the fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Now see, the Lord is constantly showing the wickedness of the earth, man. This whole Epstein thing, this was the Lord showing, look how vile this place, and that still was the surface level. Okay, but this whole Epstein thing, and it also has emboldened these other nations, like, look, America is super wicked. So they're looking at America like not only is this a bully militarily and economically, man, but these niggas are extremely wicked, man. Okay? So as we see wickedness being put more out there to the forefront, well, now we're seeing war constantly escalate. It's a direct coalition, man. It's not a separate thing. As we're seeing, wickedness being ousted, and the Lord is showing the filth, the shameful spewing, okay, on Esau. Well, guess what? It's bringing them closer to war, because the Lord, okay, is finna reap the earth, man. He's going to, reap the elect into those chariots, man. What do you do with the rest? You burn, okay, the chaff, man. You burn, okay, the unwanted. You get your harvest, but then you destroy. Okay, you get your good harvest that you're going to use and preserve. Okay, which is the elect, and then you burn everything else, man. Okay, and then you'll get rid of your wastes. Okay, but then you also, you'll purge the land, to get it ready for another harvest. There was a science, and there was a method to that. Okay, you'll reap your harvest and then you'll burn the rest. Okay, there was a method to that, man. It said multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision, man. Okay, and the decision is a judgment, and the judgment is the Lord's going to destroy all the militaries of the earth, deliver His elect. Okay, and we're going to be changed, those new bodies, Lord willing. We of that number. Okay, but the decision is already made. America is going to be dethroned. Esau, his whole system is going to be dethroned. Okay, so when you go here and it says, the Lord also shall roar out of Zion. You see that? Oh, what do you call it? Operation Roaring Lion. Well, read verse 15 first. It says, the sun and the moon shall be darkened. Okay, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. Which, when you go into it in the spirit, the sun and the moon, goes into wisdom and understanding. Okay, because as these things intensify, as things get more chaotic, man, the confusion of people is going to increase. Because people have this false sense of security in this society. When these things intensify, okay, and as we get closer and closer to Yahushua, man, people are going to be confused, man, and the wisdom of this world is going to fail. It's going to be darkened. We're going to see people become more and more confused, more and more darkened, man. Okay, and then when those missiles come, it's going to blot out the sky. All those missiles coming to America, those chariots going to blot out the sky, because the earth going to be full of chariots, man. So this is what we're leading up to. It said the Lord also, okay, Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua shall roar out of Zion. You see? So Operation Roaring Lion, okay, that's Yahushua roaring out of Zion, man. Okay, on behalf of the elect, and utter His voice from Jerusalem, which is going to be that fire. How's Yahushua going to utter His voice? Okay? How is Yahweh Shai going to utter his voice? You see? That's going to be, all right, through the fire of the chariots. Okay? It says, and the heavens and the earth shall shake, but the Lord will be the hope of his people and the strength of the children of Israel. Okay? And how's the earth going to shake? The nuclear destruction. But the Lord will be the hope of his people, the strength of the children of Israel. That's the true Israelites, man. You know, so Operation Epic Fury and roaring lion, that's appropriate for what we see happening and going on. Okay? That's appropriate for what we see happening, okay, and going on real time, man, in the spirit. Okay? Now let's get to some of these videos. All right. I want to go into the spiritual aspect of what's happening first, you know, but let's get into what's going on, you know, get caught up. All right. So let's go here first. This is from yesterday, and there's so much coming out, you know, so then it got to be filtered through. And then, you know, it's certain things that I had, you know, prepared last night. I was going to play this morning, but, you know, there's so much new stuff coming out, and then certain things become, you know, invalid, or certain things become old news quick, you know, in time of war, you know, like news from an hour ago become irrelevant. You know, that's how fast things move. Well, let's play this, about 10 minutes of this, and this kind of sum up, okay, what we've seen transpire, you know, over these last few days. Okay, the initial attack by the small hats, okay, in America. Okay, so let's play this.
Not necessarily. There's some celebrations going on across the region, similar to what we saw during the 12-day war in places like Jordan, where you had people cheering on Iran's ballistic missiles and hypersonic missiles going over their heads through air defenses. So your reaction to this, especially the legitimacy part, because they're across the board, it seems like other than the compliant leaders in the region, there's a lot of anger about this.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, it's been interesting to watch. And I know that a lot of people look at Iran and they say, oh, well, it's a paper tiger. It's not really going to respond. Well, today, Iran did respond, and it responded in a way that was unprecedented. I mean, never before have we seen this wide ranging of an attack targeting all of these U.S. military bases and having an impact in a number of different ways. I mean, we went into this knowing that the U.S. military was not prepared for this. I know Trump got a little mad earlier this week over the warning saying, look, if you go in and you attack Iran and this goes beyond, 4 to 7 days, we are going to be looking at a stockpile shortage. And that's not good when we're talking about helping out Ukraine over here and preparing for the eventual dream of war with China that the hawks in Washington still have. So they want to be careful when it comes to how they're approaching Iran. Well, Iran has made it clear that not only are they legitimate, but that they do what they say they're going to do. And one of the things they've been saying with each version of True Promise 1, 2, 3, 4 at this point is that every time they retaliate, it's going to keep getting harsher and harsher, and it's going to come sooner and sooner. So instead,
it's going to be harsher and harsher, and it's going to come sooner and sooner. What does that remind us of? The birth pain. Okay, that's the birth pain. What happened when a woman has those contractions? Okay, they become harsher and harsher, and then they become more frequent. Okay, so this is the birth pains of all prophecy being fulfilled, man. Whether it's the MOTB, the Third World War, and the second coming of Yahweh, man. Okay? The Lord has this thing set up, and then it's the spiritual, because Iran's retaliations to the small hats in America are called True Promise. All right, right now they're True Promise 4, which 4 goes into mercy. Okay, so you have, Epic Fury on one side, Roaring Lion, Epic Fury, Roaring Lion on one side, but then you have True Promise, Operation True Promise from Iran, okay, on the other side, man. And this is all speaking to us in the spirit. See, we in the spirit, we can see these things, man. It's the Lord talking, because that's how the Lord talks to us through prophecy, man. You see, the Lord finna make true on these promises, man. You know, and this is the beginning of it. This is just a phase, okay, in those promises coming true, man, for his people, beginning with the remnant, okay?
Waiting around for 2 weeks and going, is Iran going to respond? We saw this response almost immediately. And I don't blame people in the region for getting excited. Well, yes, they know that there is going to be destruction, getting excited at the fact that Iran is responding, because Iran is the main country standing for the Palestinian people, standing against an ongoing genocide, standing up against the West in a lot of ways. And that doesn't come without weighing its capabilities and its options. I mean, we're talking about a country of 92 million people. And while, yes, there are moments where you look at them and you say, oh, they're standing up to the US, a war would still have an impact on Iran, just like it would have an impact on the region. And that's something that their government has had to take into account. I think the fact that they are being so quick to move on the Strait of Hormuz is a very telling sign, because that's also unprecedented. I mean, I've heard people say for years now, oh, Iran will never actually close the strait, right? They'll never take that step. Well, they're taking that step right now, and they're making it clear that if they are going to suffer, if dozens of young schoolgirls are going to be murdered, well, the rest of the region and the global economy is going to suffer as well. And so it puts the US and Israel in a very dangerous place, because up until now, they've been bargaining on this idea that Iran has no legitimacy, that the government would just fall, that all of the hawks in their...
To be honest, sometimes I actually have no idea what's going on until I open Monday.com, and boom.
Situation rooms who are coming up with different ideas of how this should play out, that they would know exactly how things would go. Well, they didn't seem to know how it would play out, and we're not even 24 hours into this. So I think we still have a long ways to go, but I do think that Iran is making it very clear that they are going to do what they say they're going to do, and that has got to be terrifying to the US and Israel.
And Iran is doing exactly what they said they were going to do. You know, they struck, all the different military bases, in the region, as they said they were going to do. We've been watching, we've been following it. They've been saying that for weeks, that this how it was going to play out if they were attacked. And they're doing exactly what they said they was going to do if attacked. Okay, now on the Strait of Hormuz, as they're saying that the Strait of Hormuz is closed, which that's going to have a major impact. And the markets open up Monday, and we'll see, how this going to affect, the oil prices, per barrel. Okay, we'll see, man. This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. Okay, and people are already trying to draw a conclusion to it. No. This is just the beginning. Okay, this is just the very beginning. All right, and what Iran is doing, they're setting a hell of a tempo with retaliation, I believe. Just listening to different accounts, man, like they were doing missile strikes for 16 hours straight. There's rumors that few American military bases don't exist no more, man. There's a few military bases in their region that don't exist anymore, obliterated. Okay, like Trump was supposed to do to the nuclear facilities in Iran. Okay, now we do know that the Ayatollah, all right, the name Ali Khamenei, all right, the supreme leader of Iran, he's been confirmed dead, and a few of his leading, advisors and generals, which this is a part of war. And see, the supreme leader being dead, look, they don't factor into prophecy. Okay? And he's not needed for prophecy to play out. Okay, and that doesn't give America no victory. Now, it's cute for the internet, that they killed the leader, but there was already things in place for that. Do you think this is war? People die. The West hype up, death of particular people like that's just some amazing victory for American military. No, this is the beginning of the end for the American military, man. Okay, and then they killed a regional leader. He wasn't just a leader to Iran, he was a leader to that region. Okay, so all these things are backfiring against America, man. Killing one man doesn't give you the victory in the war when you got this whole system. And see, we're gonna go into it, all right, but just to confirm that, because there was rumors yesterday going back and forth, and that was one of the things I was waiting on as well, to kind of get that confirmation, dealing with that situation, but he's confirmed dead, okay, due to these, these American joint strikes with these small hats, so he's confirmed dead along with other leaders, but they all already been replaced, and it's still a go. Nigga, it's still a go. Okay, so let's play this some more.
Yeah, well, Israel, KJ has been talking a big game. They say that they are going to do this for at least 4 days. I don't know if you heard the fancy names that the U.S. and Israel came up for their operations. I believe it's Epic Fury for the Trump administration, the U.S., and Roaring Lion for Israel. But those sound nice and tough and scary, and of course there have been people who have been killed, but what has this moment so far revealed to you about the image of the United States and Israel as these dominant powers that are supposed to not ever be challenged in any kind of way, especially militarily? That's like the no-go for especially the United States.
Well, I think that image has been tarnished more and more, and it started certainly with 12-Day War, when Iran showed that it could hit back, and it could hit back hard, and it was actually Israel which wanted to sue for peace. And now they think they have reloaded, and they wanted to go in again and decapitate. And once again, I said that if the U.S. does not have an early decapitation, early suppression of enemy air defense, early destruction of command and control, things get much, much more complicated. And I think it shows that, that the U.S. Does not have the power that it has. It doesn't have the kinetic force to push around Iran, as it has done with many, many other smaller countries like Panama, Grenada, Venezuela, etc. It's a completely different ballgame. 90,000+ people, a continent the size of Europe, vast, dispersed military capacities, 17 different types of missiles, 8 of which can very readily reach Israel. I think it breaks this notion of U.S. impunity and invulnerability. We're still in early days, things could shift rapidly. War is always unpredictable. But the main thing that the US and Israel were counting on, that is rapid decapitation, seems to have failed. You've missed your sucker punch. And now things become much, much more difficult and challenging for everybody, including Israel, including the US, but certainly also for the Gulf cooperation states. These are the U.S. vassals that are facilitating the war, in particular, Bahrain, UAE, Qatar, Jordan, Saudi Arabia. All of them are currently soiling their underwear. And we also have to remember that they are weak, illegitimate states that don't really even have the proper definition of statehood. Excepting Saudi Arabia, the rest of them are populated 60 to 90% by migrants.
So you're talking about these Gulf Arab states, So basically, what America did, all right, they went in and their whole thing was to, let's kill the leader. Because what you call shock and awe, that's an American military method. It's shock and awe. Let's kill the leader, okay? Let's kill these top generals, okay, to try to destroy military strategy going forth, and let's kill some civilians. So they kill the leaders for the sake of destabilizing, all right, the military and political structure in Iran. So let's kill the leaders and destabilize the military structure and the political structure, all right, in Iran. Okay, let's do that. Let's do shock and awe. Okay, and then they killed civilians. They attacked elementary school. You know, little girls. There's a lot of little girls got killed. Okay, so they do that to show, well, look, your government can't protect your U.S. civilians. Okay, so this is what they want to do. You know, this is the method. This is the thinking behind U.S. and small head military doctrine is we're going to kill the top leaders. Okay, which is going to destabilize the military strategy and, all right, the political infrastructure. Okay, put them in chaos so they can't function going forward. Okay, and then we're going to kill civilians to show that, look, your government can't protect you from us. All right, and that's what they was banking on. The exact opposite happened. The military strategy, look, these things are already planned. They know how the West get down. The Alamani Khomeini, okay, which I show it, but at the end, he already said, like, look, I'm going to die for this. He been told them that. See, Alamani Khomeini, if I'm saying his name right, you know, the supreme leader of Iran, they was begging him to go into bunkers, and he could have went to Russia. You know, there was reports that people wanted him to come to Russia. Okay, but he said, nah. He said, my people can't leave their house. I ain't gonna leave my house. You know, because you're doing just listening to some Professor Morandi, which he's over there in Iran. So I was listening to him this morning as well, and he was just going into, all right, who the supreme leader was. But back when he was just the president, you know, when there was a war between Iraq and Iran, which America, they sick Iraq on Iran. But the supreme leader, he went to the front line of the war as the president, and he didn't go through basic training. But he was on the front line of the war as the president. He was a sitting president and went to the front line of the war when they was fighting Iraq. Okay? See, it's different in the East. You see, the West, like, there's rumors that Netanyahu, he in Germany and Berlin and all this, you know, these niggas start out, see, these Western leaders start all this shit, then they go chill in they bunkers and matches. Okay? And you people go get on the front line with this shit and be destroyed. Okay? So, Khomeini, he could have left. He could have went to Russia. He could have been in Moscow right now. But he said, nah, my people can't leave their house. I'm going to stay in my house. He like, look, I already got a succession. I already got somebody next. So basically, long story short, he told him, I'm going to die behind this shit. You know, I'm going to stand on what I said. Okay? Which was, hey, you know, what he used to say about America, man. You see, he said he's going to stand on what he said. But guess what? What they thought was going to happen, the opposite happened. Now, the military strategy is going forth and is going forth with more intensity, man. Okay? Well, you're going to get into that. But ultimately, just to sum everything up, America went for the knockout punch, okay? And then he didn't hit like they want. Now they have to deal with the retaliation. Basically, it's like you go into the bar, like, I'm finna knock this nigga out. Okay, so you sucker punch this nigga, and that don't work. And now you in a fight. But if you just playing for the sucker punch to work, and that don't work, now you in a fight. Okay, and then come find out this nigga know jiu-jitsu. Okay, this nigga black belt, this nigga, you know, ex-wrestling college, you ain't know all that. You just, oh, I'm gonna knock this nigga out, and then it don't work. Now you got to deal with all these expertise, and that's what America is at, man. Okay, so let's go to some more video. Okay.
When he arrived in Jerusalem together with the returning exile, and Nehemiah the wine barrier.
What we did?
Of the king of Persia, who dared ask the monarch.
So let's play this.
Send me unto Judah, unto the city of my father.
So after hours of denying, Iran last night confirmed the death of Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei in the joint military aggression by Israeli and American terrorists. Also killed in the same attack were IRGC Chief Major General Mohammad Pakpour and senior advisor to Ayatollah Khamenei, Ali Shamkhani. The Supreme Leader's daughter, his granddaughter, and son-in-law too were killed in these attacks. Meanwhile, Iran has wreaked havoc across West Asia by raining missiles and drones since yesterday. The worst hit has been Dubai, where Iranian missiles and drones have completely wrecked the city's image as a safe global business hub.
And Iran been giving Dubai their work. Okay? They've been giving Dubai their work. So all these little cute vacations that y'all people got planned to Dubai, over with. You can cancel that. Okay? If they haven't canceled it for you. Okay? So all these, these little cute trips to Dubai, all right? The nigga woman going to be a goddamn porta potty. Okay? All this over with. You see? Dubai is getting pumped. They getting the worst of, all right, this regional retaliation, man. Okay?
Elsewhere, Iranian missiles have made a mockery of the American air defense system across the Middle East, particularly in Israel, amidst reports of at least 200 American soldiers either killed or injured in Iranian retaliatory strikes. These would be the topics of my video today, so please stay tuned. The news of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei's death has stunned the Iranians and the Shia world. The Iranian Supreme Leader was a spiritual figure for Shia Muslims around the world. His followers are aghast by the fact that the Iranian political and military leadership simply could not ensure his security, despite there being constant threats from Israeli and American terrorists. Until yesterday, we were being told that Khamenei had been taken to a safer location even before Israeli and American strikes began. But that turned out to be a lie, and this poses serious questions on the Iranian government's refusal to learn from last year's lapses. This also raises questions on the Iranian clergy's stubbornness to not do away with their fatwa or religious decree that stopped the Islamic Republic from acquiring nuclear weapons up until now. Many wonder if they are realizing what a monumental mistake it was for them to remain so stupid throughout this crisis. Worse, they were still being naive to trust the rogue regime of Donald Trump and carry out diplomatic talks. But the assassination of the Supreme Leader is what appears to have prompted the Iranian military to go berserk or all out in hitting every single American interest in the region and American and Israeli proxies in the Arab world. Yesterday, Iran targeted several strategic and iconic locations in the UAE, including Fairmont 5-star Hotel in Palm Jumeirah, Dubai.
Yes, the hotels. You see? Because a lot of these hotels was hosting, which he's going to get into, which I heard this from that video we just watched, on further in the video, they said that they moved. Well, we already know. It shows you that the cowardness of these goddamn America. You in the American military, you super stupid. If you're over there in the American military, you're super stupid and you deserve everything that was finna happen, man. Okay? But this is how the American military roll, man. Here it is. They put the people, okay, on these bases, sitting ducks. But then the CIA and the high-ranking officials, they stay in these 5-star hotels, okay, in these Gulf Arab states, man. 5-star, 6-star hotels.
All right. Hey.
Okay, while the majority of the people on the base, man.
Okay. Hey, y'all.
So.
Hey, we're gonna come back to the priest. We're gonna do a part 2 to this lesson, cause I got some other stuff I want to do. I started on something that I was doing some research on, and I wanted to close off with that. So, I'm reading from here. Show y'all. Okay. I know they just, man, why is he showing that book, boy? We should have gave him that one. Okay, I'm reading, So, I'm reading from, because I started on, Alexander, right? We were talking about Alexander. We got Muhammad the prophet. We're gonna go into Muhammad as well. We're gonna go into all this here, man. And the Lord put on my spirit, gonna bring the book out now. But see, it's showing you how they took our history, right? Look, here goes some of the pictures that they claim to be us. This when they came over. That's what all this thing is about now. All right. And I'm gonna bring some of this to the light. All right. Okay. But right now, we're going back to what I was talking about, Alexander the Great, right? And we're gonna close right there. I'm gonna bring out a little stuff. I'm gonna stay on this until I do more research, because I got another chapter I want to read. It's a general bibliography. All right. And what we're gonna start at right here, it said Alexander the Great, right? Alexander Yanni, king of high priest of Judea. Alexander the first, Alexander the second. These are the Tsar of Russia. Matter of fact, let's start up. Let's go up. At the beginning, it said Alexander the Great, 43 and 44. All right. So that's what I'm going into now. I started on, I wanted to start, Spirit had me to start at, from the end of the Babylonian captivity to the destruction of the Second Temple. Okay, so that's why I started at. So that's one that's where I'm laying back, and then I'm gonna read from that started at page 41, and I'm gonna read down. I'm gonna read to page 44. Cause it said Alexander the Great, 43 and 44, but they currently saying Jewish. Why would they have Jewish in there? You know? Cause hey, they not us. Jewish only mean Judah. The southern kingdom, man, the northern kingdom was already over here. Okay? Matter of fact, we're finna go into this. That's what I want to close with. I'm gonna do a part 2 to this lesson. I'm gonna do an individual lesson on his own. All right, let me close right here. I'm gonna go about another 30 minutes real quick, and then we're gonna try to bring out something, cause I started on it, so bring it on out for edification. Cause right now the Lord is doing a inquisition on these devils, man. Culture vultures. So let's go into this thing. It said, so I went back to chat, and chat said, I'm going to respond directly and calmly to what you just read. It said, first, the phrase from the end of the Babylonian captivity through the destruction of the Second Temple. That period refers to roughly the return from exile under Persia around 538 BC through the time of the Second Temple until its destruction in 70 AD. Okay, that's what we were reading about, right? And that's when I read about Ecclesiastes. Right now, that's it's deja vu all over again. Right now, the Lord is building the third temple, okay? And it's not about, it's about the hearing of the word. The Lord is building a spiritual temple. Not what these devils doing over there with their red heifers. That's not even biblical, man. All right. It says until its destruction in 70 AD by Rome. See, them Edomites are back in power right now. This is who we talking about. The brother going into. It said, now let's address the key issues that I raised. It said that you raised. It said, who are the Jewish people in that historical context? The ancient history Jewish refers to connected to Kingdom of Judah, see? And they were from the diaspora. Talking about us, the African American, Judah. After the Syrian destroyed the northern kingdom, see? The Syrian destroyed the northern kingdom. Israel is the northern kingdom, which consists of the Native American and the Latino American. All right? The southern kingdom of Judah remained. The people of Judah became known as Judeans from Judah. In Greek, it's Ladia Ioi. I think that word, cause ain't no O sound in there. So I would say Lada Ah. It said in English, Jews, but this in the Greek though. Okay, it said in Greek, in English, it's Jews. So, historically speaking, Jewish people equal a descendant of Judah and those attached from them, especially after the exile. So then why did they put Jewish in there? So they trying to hide under our heritage, Esau. You see? So, hey, the Lord is bringing this stuff to the surface right now. It said Jewish people descendant of Judah. See? The African American. The African American is Judah. And those attached to them, especially after the exile. It does not mean less Jew. The ish in English does not mean less. That's a modern misunderstanding. They wasn't Jewish at all. They the one put that in there. It said the word comes from Hebrew Yehuda. Yehuda is Judah. It's Yahawada. Not no Yehuda, it's Yahawada. And that's my name, Zachariah Yahawada. Greek Ladios. Okay, Latin Judaeus is Judaeus. Old French Jew, English Jewish. See, it's a linguistic development, not a diminishment. Now, regarding the Babylonian captivity, that happened when Babylon destroyed Jerusalem in 586 BC under King Nebuchadnezzar II. The first temple built by Solomon was destroyed, and many from Judah were taken into exile. And later, under the Persian Empire, they were allowed to return. The prophets you mentioned, including Ezekiel, were speaking during this transitional period. Now about Ezekiel point, Ezekiel emphasized individual accountability. For example, in Ezekiel 18, he says the son will not bear the guilt of the father, meaning judgment was not only national but personal, like it is to this day. So when your book says he distinguished between the nation history and reward the punishment which he allotted to every man, this is accurate in Ezekiel teaching. Now, here's the balanced historical answer. When historians say Jewish people in that time period, they are referring to the Israelite from Judah. Okay, the covenant people of that kingdom. Those who returned from exile and rebuilt the second temple. They are not referring to the modern ethnic categories like white, black, Latino, or Native American. Those are modern racial constructs. Okay. Hey, see? So it says, so historically, yes, the book is talking about Israelites, see? Specifically those of Judah. But then why they put Jewish in there? And are not these people, in a modern term, Jewish? You see? So, no, the word Jewish does not linguistically mean less Jew. Yes, the Babylonian exile and Second Temple period were major covenant turning points. All right, it said, if you want, we can now go deeper into the identity shift after 70 AD, the scattering of the Israelite historically, and or how the term Jew evolved in Roman and medieval period. That's right. We're gonna go into this, but we're gonna. Hey, I'm gonna close right there. I just wanted to bring that out, and we'll get some more, man. I'm just gonna do a separate lesson on this whole thing, cause like I said, we're gonna let them tell off on themselves. Boop. We're gonna let them tell off on themselves, y'all. There you go. We're gonna be pulling out of here. All right. Yeah, they're gonna tell us about 1948, them 48ers, 1948ers too. Yeah, there's some good stuff in here that we want, we're gonna go into. The Talmud, okay, yeah. We're gonna find out when that Talmud came about. All that came about when Muhammad and them came on the scene. Prophet Muhammad and them. Yeah. But I got a lot of stuff we're gonna go into, y'all. I just wanted to show y'all some pictures. It's something they writing paintings and pictures and shit. After they done stole our history, done stole our books and stole our stuff from the temple. It said Europe at the end of the Renaissance. Oh! At the end of the Renaissance. Hold on, let me see something here. What is Europe at the end of the Renaissance period about? Give me a quick synopsis on that. Okay, the Renaissance went down humanism, power politics. The Renaissance, 14th through 16th century, began in Florence and spread across Europe by the late 1500s. Humanism focused on classic Greek and Rome. See? Had transformed education, art, science, and exploration had exploded. But Europe was shifting from cultural rebirth into religious conflict and empire building. Major figures earlier in the Renaissance, Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, Nicholas Copernicus by 1600 was less about art revival and more about power consolidation. 2. The religious upheaval, Protestants versus Catholic. The Renaissance helped spark the Protestants' Reformation, started by Martin Luther. So that's where Martin Luther King got his name, Michael King got his name from. It said by the end of the Renaissance, Europe was deeply divided. Protestants and Catholic states were at war. This tension would explode into a 30-year war in 1618. Religion became political power. So global expansion and colonization. Europe was aggressively expanding overseas. Major powers, Spain, Portugal, England, France, the Dutch Republic. So all these people oppressed the Israelites, man. The northern and southern kingdom. They had established colonies in the Americas, see? Begun the transatlantic slave trade, see? Built global trade empires. This was the beginning of Europe global dominance. See, we're going to read this here, boy. I got y'all, man. It said the rise of the strong monarchies. Kings were centralizing power. Example, Elizabeth I strengthened England. France moved toward absolute monarchy. Later seen fully under Louis, what that Roman numeral is right there. I think this, hold on here. Let me do this here real quick. Hold on, y'all. Let me see here. These Roman numerals. I'm glad I stayed with y'all and the Spirit told me to go into it because I got everything in my exposure and with my elder Malcolm, because I know he watched this video, boy. He gonna do a lesson. Yeah, hey, Solomon, elder. I know he gonna do a lesson. Cause last time I did the book, he did a lesson on it. He did a beautiful lesson. Oh yeah, he got them works over there. So, yeah. Hold on here. Yeah, these niggas being exposed, boy. Look at them. They being exposed, y'all. Look at them. Look at their faces. It said the White House says it's deeply unserious to suggest Trump commits comments on judges may lead to threats. Yeah, that nigga, man. Listen, boy, these devils, they trying to hold on to that power. They trying to hold on to that power. Hold on, let me go. Hold on, let me finish reading. Damn, what I was doing? Oh, I know what I was doing. Man, the Lord got me up, boy. Been drinking this coffee too. As soon as I get done this lesson, we're gonna do a part 2. Let me see. I want to look up at this Roman numeral. I need a Roman numeral chart.
Roman numerals use letters like I for 1, V for 5, X for 10, and so on to represent numbers. Symbols are combined to add or subtract values. For example, VI is 6 and IV is 4.
So I think that's been Roman numeral 17. Hold on. Let me see. Hold on, y'all. Bear with me here. See, y'all don't know, knowledge is power. So that's 14. I was close. So I guess it, but I wasn't sure. I wanted to make sure. Okay, it says Roman numeral 14. So fully under Louis the 14th, feudal. There you go, the feudal system. And I did a lesson on this. Feudal system were fading. Nation states were forming. Okay, scientist revolution begins around the 1600s. The old medieval worldview was collapsing. New science challenged church authority. See, we were ruling in the Dark Ages before they came into the Renaissance period. Okay. It said scientific revolution. This talking about this pseudo bullshit. Beginning around 1600. The old medieval worldview was collapsing. See, the Lord was bringing in these devils, letting these devils come out of the darkness into and He let them rule. And they've been ruling ever since. The old medieval worldview was collapsing. See, the Lord was shedding Jacob. Called King James was ruling London, England then, Dark Ages. King James from the tribe of Judah. It said new science challenged church authority. The key points: Galileo, Galilei, using a telescope, scientific methods emerging. Europe was moving from Renaissance into a scientific revolution in early modern era. So Europe was, I'm gonna ask you, hold on, let me see something here. So was Europe, Western Europe, was that Southeast Asia? Was that Western Asia? No, was Europe Western Asia? You got to be wrong because ain't such thing as Europe. Ain't such thing as Eurasia. So it said there is no natural ocean separating Europe from Asia. It's one of the continuous landmass. So technically, yes, it is one big connected place of land. See? Yeah, see, I thought you changed up, right? Elder Malcolm go into this. So if your argument is that these continental divisions are man-made construct, then yes, they are human geographic constructs. But that doesn't mean that the land doesn't exist. I ain't said nothing about it exists. I didn't say nothing about it doesn't exist. I said that's man-made construct. The European, the so-called Edomites, when they conquered all this land, after conquering Esau, Edom, they conquered, okay? They the one brought about the colonization right around the Renaissance period, the stuff that you bringing about. Because the Dark Ages was ruled by, the medieval time was ruled by Jake. Yes or no? Look at them, they did it again. So the medieval times is talking about the Dark Ages. Yes or no? Yes. but not exactly the way people often think. It said medieval Middle Ages referred to periods in Europe history roughly from 500 AD after the fall of the Western Roman Empire to 1500 AD around the Renaissance. The Dark Ages, the term Dark Ages traditionally referred to the earthly part of the medieval period from roughly 500 to 1000 AD. It was called the Dark by later Renaissance scholars. Fewer written records survived. See, they whitewashed everything, and erased everything, burned up history. Classical Roman system had collapsed. Europe was rural and political fragmented, but modern historians don't like the term Dark Age because this was still advancement of agriculture, theology, architecture. Byzantine Empire was thriving. The Islamic Golden Age was advancing science, math. African kingdoms like Mali were rising later in a medieval period. So all the Dark Ages are medieval, but so Jacob ruled in the Dark Ages, yes or no? It said, I'm going to answer you directly, historic no. There's no reliable historical evidence in biblical figure that Jake ruled during the historian of the Dark Ages. See, that's why I said, hey, they tweaked the AI. Yeah, they tweeted it. They tweaked it. But see, we're gonna go to all this because man, I'm hoping Elder Malcolm watching this video so he can go and pull out the cause he had to argue with this damn chat. you know. So hey, I hope y'all all edified, but I'm gonna continue to bring out some more edification so Elder Malcolm can come in and help me out because he got them books. He got the stuff that I need that I don't have. All right, so I hope y'all, let's get a prayer in. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, call Loyum Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rekah Kadash. All heavenly praise and honor and glory go to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rekah Kadash. And second, I'd like to give double shouts and double honor to all the elder apostles and bishops from GMS who rule well. And third, I would like to say shalom, shalom, shalom to all the like-minded men on down to myself that's pushing his word and come with the truth through the spirit and continue to thrive for the truth, nothing but the truth. So help us in Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai name, I pray. And I hope y'all was edified. Shalom, 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 I'm out.